Hello everybody, welcome to today's battle report. I'm not going to post the list at the start of this one because, well, frankly, it's quite late and I don't really have time. So I'm just going to talk you through what the units are instead and just go through the scenery as well. So let's start with the scenery. Forest here, building here, water feature here, hill here, and ruins there. For deployment, we got the forced flank, I think it's called, the diagonal one. And the secondary objective is secure the objective. So this is Mike's objective. Mike is playing dwarves, and this is my objective. I'm playing the Saurian Ancients. So in terms of units and deployment then, we'll start on my side. We've got a unit of Caimans here, 5 of those with great weapons. We've got Stygiosaur here. Unit of 31 Braves with bows and a single Cayman in there. 2 units of 15 Braves here. Another Stygiosaur, another unit of 15 Braves. 5 Caymans here with great weapons. They're the same as this unit over here. This is a Skink Captain with the Spear of Stampede. And then I've got 1, 2, 3 Scar Veterans. Each with 1+ arm save, ward save, and standard great weapon. On Tim's side, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of marksmen. Some of these are 10, some of them are 12. This is a unit of, I want to say, Deep Watch or Kingsguard, one or the other. I'm pretty sure it's Deep Watch actually. And this one is a unit of Kingsguard. Grudge Buster here. Tim's also got a King in this unit, and he's got a King and a Thane in this unit. Did I say Tim? I meant Mike. Mike has got a King here, and then a King and a Thane in here. Mike finished deploying his army first, so he got +3 on the roll, which he won, so Mike's going to get the first turn. Mike also has a unit of 10 miners, which are not deployed. Right, let's get on to it. Okay, so this is the end of Mike's movement turn 1 then. He's not done a lot really. He's moved his Deep Watch up to the bottom of the hill. He's not on the hill, so they can't be seen. And that basically means that they're guarding this secondary objective. His other units have stayed the same. Of course, his marksmen don't want to be moving because they've got unwieldy weapons, so that would be a real pain for them. Although I am surprised that he didn't move his Grudge Buster or his Kingsguard over here, but there you go. That's the end of Mike's movement turn 1. Alright, so annoyingly I actually accidentally deleted the photograph from the end of Mike's turn 1, but not a lot happened really. Basically 6 Braves died over here from the combined shooting of these units, and 1 Cayman died from the combined shooting of these units. And that was the entirety of Mike's turn 1. So, on to my movement phase then. You can see that the Scar Veterans come over here to threaten the Grudge Buster. And the other 2 Scar Veterans have come up here into the middle. I'm moving the Skinks forwards. I've moved these Skinks to the bottom of the hill. So, this is I'm really happy with the way this has gone because these Skinks can't see these dwarves, and the dwarves can't see the Skinks, which means neither can charge one another, which means that this big block of 1,500 points is kind of standing at the bottom of the hill doing nothing, so I'm quite happy with that. So my plan is to take out the 4 units of marksmen, take out the Grudge Buster, and then throw everything I can at this slightly weaker unit of Kingsguard here, and just keep the Deep Watch busy. And Mike not having them on the hill is playing to my advantage there, so I'm really happy about that. So I've moved up here, threatening these 2 units. Skink's just coming in to chaff things up later if needed. I've moved them up here because I want to delay this unit while I take on all the others, so I'm going to try and bait them into a failed charge with my Skinks. Right, there you go, end of my movement 1. Okay, so we had a real drama with photographs today, and loads of them got deleted, so just bear, well, I say loads, a few from the first couple of turns, so just bear with me a little bit. We did actually lose the photograph for Mike's movement turn 2, but basically he charged at the Scar Veteran over here with his Grudge Buster, and as you can see, that didn't go very well for him. His miners arrived over here, and he declared a charge on the Stygia Saw with one of his unit of marksmen, and I elected to stand and shoot with my breath weapon. And then you can see that that fight was, it was a bit of an underperformance actually, and the Stygia Saw only managed a draw with the dwarf marksman, which was a bit disappointing really. Other than that, you can see in the middle of the battlefield that the Deep Watch have reformed to threaten my my 2 characters here if they should fail a charge against these marksmen in the middle. Got a wound on the Caymans from shooting. I think that was up here, and I think one Cayman down here died from the shooting attack on the miners in this turn as well. So yeah, that was the end of Mike's turn 2. Okay, so my movement turn 2 here then. So I've come in on this unit of marksmen here with this unit of Caymans. I'm leaving the Stygia Saw to finish off these guys, which I expect him to do quite easily. And then you can see that the veterans, I decided not to declare this charge because I didn't want to run the risk of my veterans dying, because Mike could just easily flee with this unit. So I ran one up to the side here and brought the other one over here. So I'm thinking I can go after this unit and kill it over a couple of turns. It'll be steadfast, but it's not a massive drama. And then I'm looking for a 3-way charge here on this unit as well. So then I'm thinking at this point the battle's going, pretty well. I've got all these marksmen tied up over here. Did a bit of shooting damage on this unit here. So this looks like easy points. This should happen in time. That just leaves these 2. I don't really want to engage this one, so I'm going to throw all my big guns at this one over here and see what I can do about these later. With Mike reforming to face this way in the middle, it means my skinks can advance up into an annoying position without really being in any danger. So yeah, there you go. Let's see what happens. Okay, end of my turn 2 here then. So got a couple of wounds on the marksman from some skink brave shooting here. I did a wound on the Kingsguard over here from the Tara Saw doing some shooting, but the main action in this turn was all up here. So the Stygia Saw beat the finished off the marksmen, killed them all, and these marksmen lost combat by a bucket load. I decided not to pursue. They ran off the board and I reformed. So that was the end of my turn 2. Okay, so Mike's movement 3 here then, and lots of reforming, preparing for combat basically. Declared one charge with his miners over here into my Caymans who had reformed in the previous turn to get ready for that, so they're in on the front there. He's reformed over here so that the 2 veterans are on his front rather than his flank, rather than his rear rather. He's reformed over here so that he can basically not be charged by the veteran on the flank, and he's reformed over here just to see what he can do on his way out there. The Deep Watch unit here seems to sort of be standing still really. I think he moved it ever so slightly, which would have left certain things in charge range later on. So there you go, that's the end of Mike's movement turn 3. Okay, so end of Mike's turn 3 here then. In the shooting phase, he did a wound on my Caymans up here with his marksman, and in combat, he gave these Caymans down here a good beating, caused 5 wounds on them. They only caused, I think, 3 or 4 back. 4 back. But they were beaten in combat, but they held with their cold-blooded leadership, so I was quite pleased with that. So that's the end of Mike's turn 3. Okay, so my turn 3 then, and I've had a lot of charges. I've got my Stygiosaur and my Caimans into this unit here. I'm expecting to crush this and overrun this way. I've got my Veteran into this unit here, and the big one, I've charged my Tarasaur and 2 Veterans into this unit of Kingsguard here. Elsewhere, I've backed up just a little bit here so that I can't be charged by this great big block. I'm quite happy that this block is still standing still, really, because it means I don't have to worry about it, so that's good. And the Skinks here have rallied. I think they were previously fleeing from something. I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyway, they are now here. I expect Mike to win this combat, and what I'm trying to do is to draw this scoring unit away from this secondary objective, which is why I'm happy to have these Skinks here, because I expect him to reform face them. I plan to flee. That's going to give him a long redirect, which I expect him to fail, and that should put his dwarves kind of here on the edge of the ruins somewhere roughly nicely away from this secondary objective, and then they'll have to start making some choices about what to do in the rest of the game is the idea. So yeah, there you go. Other than that, I think I moved up with this unit few inches, just bringing them into shooting for this unit here, and also of course allowing me later on to advance towards a secondary objective, because Skink Braves are a scoring unit, which is great. So that's the end of my movement turn 3. Okay, so my turn 3 was where it all went down then. You can see closest to us that in combat, the Tarasaur and the 2 Veterans had an absolute field day over here, caused a total of 26 wounds. The Tarasaur's got his 2d6 plus 1 sharp and horned impact hits, so he did 10 wounds just on his impact hits. I think he did another 5 with stomps, and then kind of a few more with the crew and the Skink Captain. And the Veterans kind of added to that, really, for a total of 24 wounds, which was absolutely horrible. But fortunately for Mike, a couple of the Kingsguard survived, which meant that this unit was stubborn. His king here also did 4 wounds against my Tarasaur Skink Captain here, and 1 wound against one of my Veterans over here. Other than that, in this phase, I caused a wound on the Deep Watch here from shooting. I caused 3 wounds on Deep Watch from the breath weapon, which was just in range. The miners smashed through the Caimans as predicted and reformed. And the marksman over here took a couple of wounds, but they held because they're steadfast. So that was the end of my turn 3. Okay, so Mike's turn 4 here then, and he declared a charge against the Skinks, who fled deliberately, and annoyingly, Mike managed to make a 14-inch redirect with his movement 3 troops into the side of my Stygiosaur, which was always a possibility, but it was very unlikely to happen. But there you go, nothing I can do about that. So, what are the odds of that? 1 in 12, I think. 3 in 36, so 1 in 12. But there you go. Never mind. Dice games, what are you going to do? Other than that, I think the Deep Watch here sort of moved up this way a little bit. And yeah, that was about it, really. So that's the end of Mike's movement 4. Oh, I just forgot to mention, in the previous turn, the marksmen that were here had broken and fled and were caught, and that's why these 3 units are here. Sorry about that. Right, that's the end of Mike's movement 4. Okay, so end of Mike's turn 4 here then, and you can see that the miners smashed through my Styggy. So I say smashed through, they beat it by like 1 or 2. I think it did as many wounds to them as they did to it, but they've got flank and charge on it, and it failed its cold-blooded, what is it, cold-blooded 6 or 7, something like that. So the miners overran into the flank of the skinks, which is a little bit annoying. In combat over here, I finished off the King's Guard. But before the combat ended, the King managed to finish off my BSB Tarasaur over here. I did do one wound on him, so he's got 2 left though. But he passed his leadership test, so he's fighting to the bitter end over here. Held combat here. Mike continuing to be steadfast, and he's obviously coming up now to threaten some of these units over here. This leaves me with a bit of a dilemma. Do I try running in here with both of these units and breaking this and kind of hoping to run through this way and prevent this unit from being able to catch anything, or do I just say, well, screw it, let the veteran be flank charged and just move these units back? Not sure yet. We'll have to see what I decided to do there. That's the end of Mike's turn 4. Okay, so my movement turn 4 then, and you can see what I've decided to do. I'm running a bit of a gamble here. What I'm going to do is charge in with the Caimans and the Stygiosaur, and what I'm basically hoping for is that 1 or 2 of these dwarves survive and they flee so that I can pursue. I can overrun with the Stygiosaur, I can overrun with the Caimans, but I can't overrun with the veteran because he's been hanging around for a while. So really I want to beat this unit, but I don't want to completely wipe it out. That seems reasonably likely. I've got 1 Caiman here in base contact. Stygiosaur's only got a total 5 attacks. So I'm hoping, like I say, 1 or 2 survive. Elsewhere in my movement turn, the Skinks who fled earlier continue to rampage around here, not knowing really what they're doing, and they start fleeing away from the closest unit, which is this one. That's it. Yeah, that's it, really. That's the end of my movement 4. Okay, so this is the end of my turn 4 then. It was a really bizarre turn, this one. I did get +1 toughness on the Braves with my Stygiosaur over here, hoping that they might be able to hold, but then I forgot that the miners are strength 5, so it didn't affect the dice rolls. So that was a bit silly. Anyway, the Skinks broke from the miners, but they didn't catch them, so that's something. Over here was the most extraordinary thing I think I've ever seen in Warhammer. The King managed to beat 2 veterans, killing 1. The veterans, who both have a 1+ armor save. One has a 5-up ward, the other has a 6-up ward distracting. The 6-up ward guy died, and the other guy did absolutely nothing and ran away, which is unbelievable for veterans. They're so consistently dependable. Could not believe that had happened. The one redeeming feature of this was that this King who pursued my veteran here wasn't able to catch him, because that would have been totally ridiculous. So yeah, there you go. That was the end of my turn 4. Alright, so end of Mike's movement 5 here then. Loads of charges in this turn, loads of fleeing as well, nothing got caught. The Stygiosaur ended up just teetering on the board edge over here. The veteran ran this way. I think it was this unit of Deepwatch that actually charged the Stygiosaur, but for some reason Mike didn't redirect into either of these units. I'm not actually sure why. The Skinks fled from the miners who were just behind the secondary objective there, but they were caught, so I lost a unit of Skinks in this turn. But other than that, it's as you see there. So that's the end of Mike's movement 5. Okay, so this is the end of my movement turn 5 then, just the 1 charge. The Caimans have come after the King here, who's down to 1 wound, so I'm hoping I can just nick through 1, finish him off. Other than that, loads of rallying. The Stygiosaur rallied, the veteran over here rallied. Then, after those rallies had happened, my general moved over here because the Stygiosaur had used his leadership when he was still sort of over here-ish. He moved out of the way for Tim's turn 6 so that he can't be charged, which actually means this unit hasn't been in combat in the whole game, which is wonderful news. And over here, this unit rallied, where it is there. The Skinks I think they stayed still, actually. Yeah, they stayed still, but this unit of Skinks made a dash towards this secondary objective. This is my turn 5, so I'm quite happy with this because now I should be able to get sort of a few inches away from it by the end of my turn 6. So I'm going to claim this secondary objective here. So yeah, that's the end of my movement 5. Okay, so this is the end of my turn 6 then. You can see the Caymans finished off the king. They just got that one wound through, so that was good news. He didn't do particularly very much back, so I was really happy with that. And then a combination of shooting from this unit of Braves here, and then a long-range swarm of insects from a Stygiosaur here finished off the miners. So yeah, happy to get their points as well. That's the end of my turn 5. Okay, so this is Mike's movement turn 6, and all he does is reform this unit here to bring it just within the 6 inches of the secondary objective. Can't declare any charges. Well, he could have declared a charge, actually. Could have declared a long-range charge against this unit of Caymans. Now, while he wouldn't have actually been likely to make it, it probably was the smartest thing to do because Mike wasn't going to get this objective because I'm able to march through this water, being water striders over here, which means this objective is going to be contested, but I'm going to go 12 inches over here, meaning that this objective is claimed. So I'm going to get the secondary objectives, there's no doubt about that. So might have been able to declare a long charge here. It's better than nothing. But anyway, he decided to reform and contest this objective. So that was the end of Mike's movement. He has no shooting, he has no magic, he has no combat. So that's also the end of Mike's movement turn 6. Okay, similar story for me here. I've moved up to contest this objective. I've moved up here to claim this objective. Did a little bit of shooting on the Deep Watch here, and it all pinged off their armor save, so nothing particularly exciting happening there. That's the end of the game. It was 13-7 on points, but then I claimed the secondary objectives, so it ended up being a 16-4 victory to the Saurian Ancients. I'm really happy with the Saurian Ancients list. I think it's pretty solid. It's won, I think, every game it's played, bar one, which it drew, and that was, I take nothing away from my opponent, but I got an absolute bucket load of 1s and 2s when it really mattered. So I'm pretty happy with this list. Although it hasn't had any big wins. I think 16-4 is actually its biggest win, but I just don't see it losing. So yeah, I'm really happy with this list. We've got a tournament coming up here in Suzhou a couple of months from now, so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be entering this list into that. 5 games in 2 days, so should be good fun. Right, that's it for today, guys. It is 10 o'clock at night here in Suzhou, so I am off to bed. I will leave this uploading so you can all see it tomorrow, and I shall bid you good night. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.